Rayzr. Hey, welcome back to Sketchn with Rayzr, channel where I draw anything and talk over it. Today I am working on a thumbnail for my recent Eden's Guardian demo playthrough. I got a bit of a new setup going on right now. I'm just trying to make sure everything works. Audio, whatever. Okay, cool. Yes, everything's working. Okay. This game was pretty much a side scroller, kind of similar to Blasphemous, from what people have been telling me, because I haven't played Blasphemous yet. Blasphemous. Bleh. Don't know why that was hard to say that word. Blasphemous. But it was pretty interesting. It was a demo, so for the most part, it was a little bit empty in terms of enemies, but in terms of the animation and style of the gameplay, it was pretty interesting. Let's see. I'm trying to think about what I'm gonna do for this one. Normally, what I like to try and do is put whatever character that I was playing as up against whatever issues that I had with the game or whatever difficulties I may have had with the game. I believe in this one, the most difficult thing that I had with the game was essentially the final boss. Because for the most part, the demo was simple and easy and to the point. Yeah, from what I remember, because it's been a while since I had played it. Yeah, from what I remember, I was having issues with this boss because for some reason, every time I would attack the guy, he would simply pull up his tiny little shield and block literally everything. Even when I'm not trying to attack the shield directly, I still end up hitting the shield for some reason. It was weird. But yeah, it was kind of funny. Trying to deal with this really cool looking boss, but nothing I could do could even get through his tiny little shield. So I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna have in this thumbnail the main character, which I don't know the name of. I might have to look that up again, but I can only assume that the character that you play as is the Eden's Guardian, but it might be one of those things where the name of the title isn't necessarily the character, but of course I didn't pay attention to that. So if that is the case, then it's whatever, then obviously. But yeah, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna have the playable character I'm gonna have the character that I'm playing as trying to attack the main boss, but no matter what she does, you just keep hitting this tiny shield. It's probably gonna have him kind of droop over to the side while holding up his shield. Maybe have him yawning. Hold on a second. I'm gonna do this. This is all rough, so I'm not really worried about the quality right now. I'm trying to figure out how small I should make the shield. I might make it smaller as a joke, but maybe have her dashing in for strike, swinging her sword, which was probably one of the most satisfying thing in the game. Oh yeah, speaking of those sword mechanics, I think that's my favorite part of the demo easily is The fact that you can throw your sword and then teleport to your sword, and the fact that they implemented several puzzle pieces, or like navigation and puzzles and whatnot that you can uh, that you have to challenge yourself with using the sword teleportation. So, for example, there would be a there will essentially be like a gap that I have to get over. Actually, I remember this. Yeah, now that I'm thinking about it, I remember this exactly. There was a gap that I needed to get over, right? So I'm just trying to figure out what to do. She's got her sword, whatever. This is so silly. And in order to get across the gap and pass a wall that was leading to the next area, I had to jump and throw my sword into essentially like a hole in the wall. And after throwing the sword, I have to retrieve it and quickly dash past in order to essentially get through this gap. Otherwise, if you're not fast enough, you're just gonna fall into the pit of spikes and die, which is obviously not good. But it was stuff like that that they implemented into the game that I found interesting, which is probably going to be like during the final product, because it's not out yet. I hope that's going to be one of the biggest parts to it. Those little puzzle like sections using the different abilities that you get throughout the game, especially the teleport to your sword mechanic. I've always liked that type of mechanic where actually, yeah, I've always liked that concept, I should say. The concept of throwing an object and then teleporting to that object for traversal or, for combat or whatever. I remember seeing that in what was that? Final Fantasy. I believe it was 15. The one where you're essentially playing as like a prince. Yeah, I believe you play as a prince. The future king or whatnot, and you're traveling with your protectors on a road in a car. And you kind of look like a boy band, essentially. Noctis, yeah, you're playing Noctis. I was trying to remember the name. Yeah, that was an interesting game to say the least. But yeah, one of my favorite things in that was being able to teleport to my weapon as I threw it here and there during combat and outside of combat. So now that I think about it, I don't think I've ever finished that game. I believe I got past. Yeah, spoiler alert, because I will be spoiling that game and whatever else I may be talking about. But I believe there is a time skip where you go from being, a younger version of yourself, a younger version of Noctis, to essentially like a bearded version, which I had no idea was going to happen. It was very weird, but I believe that was the furthest that I got, was right after that time skip, and then stopped. I don't know. I'm not sure why I stopped, but it was an interesting game nonetheless. But in terms of Eden's Guardian, yeah, it was pretty cool. Despite it being short and for the most part empty, because it was a demo. I really liked the boss battle. Being able to maneuver around his little screaming section where it was very weird. He has like whenever you get too close and you lower his health towards down to a certain point, he'll scream and push you back, essentially, as you're trying to attack him. But it's one of the reasons why you see in this image that I have up here as reference, I'm hitting the air instead of hitting him. Because I was about to hit him, but he screams and knocks me back. After a certain point, he'll do that again, and then his hair will turn white, like he turned Super Saiyan or something. I actually made a joke within my video that I'm going to upload on my gaming channel, Rayzr Plays. It's very funny. Go check it out. But it was definitely a very interesting section. Because of my new setup, I have to change a lot of the shortcuts. So I'm no longer using the laptop that I had in a previous episode, and instead using something else. And my shortcuts that I normally set up are not working. Silly me for not setting it up before the recording, but it's whatever. I got it. I can work without it. But yeah, I think I'm gonna go with that idea of striking the tiny, well, not being able to strike the boss due to this tiny shield. I'm gonna keep that idea. In fact, I'm gonna duplicate this here. Try and adjust it a bit. Maybe, yeah, like I was saying earlier, I might have him yawn, so let me go ahead and do this. Oops, wrong layer. I always forget to do that for some reason. Let me see, tired eyes. So he's kind of got like a kind of look. His hands up. Ugh. How annoying that would be. Trying to fight somebody and they're just yawning while you're doing whatever you trying to fight a boss but can't do anything against the boss because he's just too OP or not interested, so he's just yawning in your face. It's like every anime encounter ever. Especially anything in regards to One Punch Man. Ain't that a show? Which apparently I haven't gotten really far in. I think the furthest that I've gotten in One Punch Man is a fight against not Burroughs. It's Cosmic Goro, yeah. Right after that fight. No, wait, no. That's not the latest that I've seen. The latest I've seen is the Tatsumaki fight. Or lack thereof. Where it's essentially Saitama trying to get Tatsumaki to freaking chill out against her sister. So he's like holding onto her. And she's frustrated because she can't like get him off or something like that. Or knock him out or defeat him. But yeah, very silly freaking show. with crazy animation. I still remember seeing the first season and pretty much surprised at how great the quality was for the very first season of an anime like that. It's like, who in the world? I believe it was Madhouse Animation Studios, I believe it was, that did that. An amazing quality. Every single frame and action was just peak. I know it must have taken forever, considering my own experience with animation. And to get the heck out of that. I was in a 2D animation class. Oh, yeah, 2D animation class over in my college. And I was working on, I think it was essentially every single day, really. I had a project idea that I wanted to work on, and those days that I worked on it essentially led to like almost sleepless nights. Because it took a while for me to finish all those ideas. And I'd end up, because I lived far away from the college, I didn't actually live in a dormitory as they did not have one. I had to essentially get up probably about 4 in the morning just to drive all the way out there and get to class on time. And it was pretty strenuous after a while, especially when it came to me adding on to the fact that I was also spending a lot of time, or rather a lot of my nights and the times that I should be sleeping, working on animations. Man, it was both awesome and not awesome at the same time. Because while I did enjoy seeing that final product of me just creating something, it was very strenuous. A lack of sleep can destroy your body. And now I'm trying to think about, should I have him in his like gray Super Saiyan form? It was so weird, that section, because this I remember this so clearly. Well, I'm in the middle of fighting this dude, actually doing a lot of damage at one point, and he just keeps screaming like longer than usual. And I'm like, wait a second, he's screaming a lot longer than he normally does. What's going on? And I'm like, oh, okay, his health is down at a certain point. And of course, when it comes to Souls games, when you get the boss health down to a certain point, it'll lead to a transformation or whatever extra phase in their fight it may be. And yeah, as this dude is screaming, his hair transforms white, and it looks like it gets longer. Probably didn't, but yeah, it turns white, and I'm like, okay, that's like straight up Dragon Ball. Like a Super Saiyan 3 really long transformation. Your hair turns gold. Sparks of electricity around you. The whole world feels it. But it's like, what's he doing? He's going even further beyond. Like, oh my gosh. I remember seeing I remember the first time I saw that transformation. I believe I was a kid at that point. But yeah, I was like mixed with the transformation, and honestly, I still am. Because I was expecting like essentially what we got in GT, which was the Super Saiyan 4, but when I saw that transformation where it's just him growing longer hair, like far longer than his body, and then like losing his eyebrow hair and staring menacingly at this pink gumball dude, Majin Buu. It's like, I'm not sure if this is cool or not. It looks kind of goofy. Normally, when you think of transformation, you think of like a full body type of thing. Hence the term transformation. But of course, it's Dragon Ball. Super Saiyan in general was always like a hair thing. His hair turns gold, his eyes turn blue, and it gets longer and spikier and shoots upwards. That was always the idea. But I favor the Super Saiyan 4 transformation simply because it feels more like it feels like a genuine transformation, like the primal state of a Super Saiyan. Like that's what it should be. Because originally, Goku's transformation, quote unquote, was turning into a giant ape. So naturally, you would think, okay, well, one of his transformations, or at least a later version, would be maintaining his physical form, but combining that with the ape. Hence his Super Saiyan 4 look, where he's just like an ape-like version of himself, but not a giant. So human-sized ape, which is kind of weird. But yeah, I like that version more. The look of Super Saiyan 4 over Super Saiyan 3. Because Super Saiyan 3 is kind of just like, well, my hair is longer and I lost the hair on my eyebrows. I hope you're ready to fight. Which, obviously, yeah, Super Saiyan 3 is pretty freaking powerful in terms of the characters. Yeah, I'm not trying to be super serious. I'm not trying to have a super serious quality to the thumbnail. So I'm going to keep things simple and to the point. So I can increase my speed when pumping out these thumbnails and videos for the channel. Crap. I should have brought some water, but I didn't. Just gonna have to deal with it. Okay. Probably not gonna show the entire body of the character because I don't have an image for that right now. Speaking of him yawning, I forgot that he has essentially like a pole arm. So I might just have it sticking into the ground. Like he's so unfazed with me trying to attack him. He's just like, yeah, whatever, dude. I'm just gonna set down my main weapon and yawn because you're clearly not worth it. Which is super disrespectful. Like, how could you, dude? After all we've been through, don't you remember all the good times of me trying to attack you? But instead of me attacking you, giant balls of rock would fall down from the ceiling and just hit me. That was also one of the things that would happen during the fight. Because this dude's Super Saiyan transformation and screaming is like bringing down the area that we're fighting in. Because from what I remember, we're fighting in an underground section of the city. hence the little cave-like area and like the lit air. Hence the area looking like it's in a cave. We're not necessarily in a cave. We're underground. But yeah, he screams. A bunch of rubble comes down, and it like you have to time your jumps and maneuvering around so that you're not getting pummeled by all these rocks that's coming down from the ceiling. That was definitely fun trying to get past. And by fun, I mean not fun at all. Quite annoying. Regardless, I still dug it. I think I'm just gonna simplify his armor. Let me see what I can do with it. Kind of has a weird shape to it. I don't know why it reminds me of Brussels sprouts. Imagine that, fighting a dude with Brussels sprout armor. So silly. So probably gonna look something like that. A spiky bottom with a rounded center. Yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. Hold on, let me circle it. I can't quite tell what his armor looks like. It almost has like a muscle structure going on to it. So maybe I'll do something like that, where you can see the biceps, the elbow connection, and then something that leads to the triceps. But of course, you won't be able to see all of it because he's holding up his tiny, indestructible shield. Okay. Oh yeah, in terms of like because there were enemies in the demo, but the enemies that you would face, I believe there were only, how many enemies? I believe there were 3. Okay, wait. There was the flaming enemy. There was this enemy with a giant shield, an enemy with a giant mace, and an enemy with like a tiny, I don't even know if I can call it a sword, because it looked like he was just holding a blade with his hand, and he wouldn't even swing it far. Like, he would swing it to attack, obviously, but his swings were short, so it just looked like he was flailing his weapon around, like, yeah, like all pathetic, like. So dumb looking. Oh, that's okay. Yes. If you're wondering why I am repeatedly stopping while I'm trying to talk, it's because I'm still working on being able to talk and draw at the same time. Now, obviously, I can do this post while talking over it, which will make things easier, but I am trying to save on time. But yeah, that's all I have for now. I will finish the rest in a sped up version. So I will catch you guys later. And I hope you all Keep your mind, body, and soul razor sharp. Bye bye.